once it gets to the capacity of who it is and what it's supposed to be, like right now, it's still blossom, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's still bloom. So it's I got time, but even for if we wanted this to bloom quicker or do whatever, we change the pot.
Yep. We gotta give it a bigger space.
We got to give it a
Yep.
bigger space to grow.
It's called upgrade.
Upgrade.
Mhm.
So if we don't want to advance, we want to stay in the same. If we want to be preschoolers all our life, we ain't gonna get nowhere. We ain't gonna have no job, ain't gonna have no money because we're gonna stay on preschool.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then when I've strongly believe if we stay in the states that we aren't created to be in.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the thing. When we want to stay in this straight, God created us to evolve.
Mm-hmm.
God created us to grow, mature.
Yep.
God created us just not to reach people in our house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just not our family. Because when we talk to our family and we walk in love and people know us, it becomes an outward thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and all these things are affected by each other.
Mm-hmm.
If the soil ain't tilled,
Mm-hmm.
if the soil haven't been right, the plants ain't gonna grow.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have some good roots,
Mm-hmm.
but the roots gonna be bad if the soil.
Like you still got to cultivate
You
that land.
still got to cultivate. If
Yup.
the soil is not cultivated and we plant seeding, it's gonna grow. But what type of growth it's gonna have?
Exactly. You gotta make sure you good ground.
You gotta make sure you're good ground. So and becoming good ground. All I say with relationships, right? I go back to becoming good ground. In relationships, me and my friends for over 25 years. Let's say it's my age. So anyway, I don't look at though, praise them.
Hallelujah.
So we literally, we was, when you seen one, you seen the other.
Mm-hmm.
If you seen two, you seen six. That's how we roll,
Okay.
We would literally go to Denny's after church.
Mm-hmm.
And
That kind of crowd.
every Sunday, go to the same Denny's. They had our room ready for us.
Okay.
We didn't have to ask for it.
Room.
A room.
You had a squad. Okay.
We had a
I feel you.
squad,
I feel you.
right. So it was six of us. But then as time kept going, it ended up increasing.
There you go.
So
Multiply. There you go.
So we sitting in Denny's, Joe, like 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
Right? Because you said just not rushing.
Mm-hmm.
We had great conversation.
Oh, yeah.
We had, and then people would come up, add to the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and be like, "Yo, we want to hang."
To spin.
It's spin, right?
Yup. Oh yeah.
So developing relationship takes time
Mm-hmm.
because only because you have a relationship does not mean that everything is peachy.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is gonna be great. Everything is gonna be the way I believe we create harmony. I gotta know your exact tune to even make you mad,
Mm-hmm.
to even make you happy, to even make you sad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with us, you living in harmony, and uh, so and living in harmony, we think, oh, we get in a relationship. We get in a relationship. Oh, it's so great. They love me. Oh, we've been in this thing for 2 months. Oh, it's so wonderful. And then the next thing we know that, oh my God, they bursting.
Oh, Jesus.
But then I'm just talking about just a relationship, right? We get in a relationship and we think, okay, let's say Jesus, right?
Okay.
All right. We are, oh, hallelujah. Thank you, Father. You done nothing. Like we sing it and we saying that all of the time, right?
Okay.
So then they be like, they they so spiritual. Oh, they love the Lord. Oh, they seem like, all right, because we got Jesus on our lips.
Mm-hmm.
And we love the Lord, okay? You heard our cry, right? Mm-hmm. And so, was that Jesus with God? Anyway, so that's another whole conversation.
Okay.
So, so we go into things I already have a perception of an idea of who you're gonna get
Mhm.
based on what you see, what you don't know.
Exactly.
So we get with, oh, they're a pastor. Oh, they did. Oh, they did.
They hear the title and
Right,
automatically
right, right.
assume
Oh,
that
they gonna treat me right.
Mhm.
They gonna do right. They gonna do right by me because they're a pastor.
The minute they hear the title, they
You
automatically
right.
assume.
So even in being a teacher, right? Because I work in the school system, it was so hard because I feel like teachers are the good people, right?
Yeah.
And then having co-workers and be like, oh, they cuss. like, hold on. They got emotions, right? And it's people being people, and it has to be people in the container that they're in.
Mhm.
And we have multiple containers depending on what place we go.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So I can grow what we say grow
Mm-hmm.
in church or religious sector, right?
Okay.
Because I got a title of an apostle. Say, oh, you made it. I ain't making it if I'm still.
Exactly.
I'm not making it if I'm like, and sometimes, we're not perfect, but if I'm purposely, deliberately doing something, and because I got the title, and people care about the title more than they care about me.
Exactly.
That is why people can get away. Leaders and anybody can get away because if I'm serving the need,
Mhm.
and the need at that time is to make your flesh feel good, I'm going to serve that need, right, and have you in a place of blindness
Mhm.
because you still don't know me. I just know how to serve the need.
Exactly.
And I can be a mess. So then they be like, people like, oh, I can't believe that. You a pastor. Okay.
I'm also a human being.
Before I'm a pastor,
Mm-hmm.
and while it's just a position,
Yeah.
right? Just like you have a position at work, you have a position in your house, you have a position. But people get blinded by the title
Exactly.
that they end up being so blinded by the title that they add more hurt to it.
Exactly.
They add more pain. They add more discouragement. And then they're like, well, you're a pastor, or you're the doctor, or you're a lawyer. You shouldn't have did that to me. Who said I didn't have attitude? Who said I'm not a hell on wheels? You assume that.
Yep.
Who said I didn't cuss? You assume that.
Exactly.
Because, well, you go to church every time. What the dude say? You want a good woman? Go to the church.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say this too. I'm laughing before I even say it. Right? If you want a good one, right? They say it's in the church. Because the assumption is you go to church. They have trained you enough how to be a good wife.
Lord.
They have trained you enough how to be a good partner. But they train you to a place of control. And
That part.
Right. That's what people be wanting. They say, go to church, you get a good woman. You want to be able to control somebody, and being under somebody's control don't make you good.
What you need to focus on instead of looking for that good husband or wife is you being that good partner for that person you're looking for.
Right.
And for me, it's like I wasn't looking, and the thing is, I kept saying to myself, you know what? I want a good mate. And that's, you know what, God? I'm going to stop looking for that good mate. I'm going to start trying to be the best mate I can be for the person you're going to bring me. I need to be able to be in good mind. I need to be able to take care of myself. I need to be able to keep myself proactive for my own health. I need to be able to be mindful of what I'm doing for myself. I need to be proactive for this. I need to be able to do all these things. And until I can do these things, I know that you're not going to put X, Y, and Z into my path.
So did you change your mentality to get a mate, or did was having a partner the motivation for you to start bettering yourself?
No.
Okay, because that's what some people that's what we end up doing. We start bettering ourselves to reach a goal.
No.
And so then when we meet that goal, it's no more bettering ourselves because I only walked through this healing journey because I wanted to be prepared for the mate. I
Full,
only
full transparency, full transparency, because you know me on a personal level, and a lot of folks that I know that we're in covenant with, know me on a personal level, know a lot about my story. I had fallen out with my partner at the time, and I know that I wasn't in a place where I was good for anybody.
right.
I wasn't even good for myself. And I was basically like, Jesus, and there's a guy that I follow on Facebook and TikTok, and his hashtag is Jesus Fix It. And I was basically like, God, fix it.
Right.
Because it was like, God, if you don't fix me, I don't know if I can even be in existence.
Exactly.
And I was in that place mentally, and I just said, God, I need to be in a place where I can exist on this place where I can be of use, because I felt like I couldn't be. Because I felt like I didn't deserve life. But I also knew that I had purpose.
Right.
And it's like, it's like, my grandmother used to say, 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. I said, well, God, how do you fix that conundrum? You know you're not suicidal, but you don't want to exist. But you have purpose. What is that? I'm like, and I know that's the enemy. But I'm like, how do I even resolve that? I said, God. And I literally was in my bedroom on my knees crying out to God, just God, help me. God, just help me. And critters around me just nudging me on, just God, help me. God, help me, crying out to God day in and day out. And, you were another leader breathing life into me, praying over me night and day, and just knowing that I had to make it and didn't know how I was going to do it.
Right.
And just believing God and just saying, God, what do I need to do? And just saying to myself, I have to figure out how to focus and refocus in on me. Because I kept focusing on everything and everybody else. And until I realized that God in me was there.
Right.
God is in me.
Right.
God gave me the Holy Spirit in me. That power, the power of the Holy Spirit is in me to do those things. And if I don't take that authority to do what God has called me to do, then I was going to end up dying here.
Right. Right.
And I had to figure it out.
That part.
And that is when things changed for me. And it was like, I would watch the live feeds and I was just like, you know what? I'll post up, God, make me a better husband. Make me a better husband for whatever mate you give me, but make me a better husband. I didn't care who the mate was, but make me a better husband. I didn't care if it was a purple dinosaur, a pink unicorn. I didn't care. I didn't care. I just cared that God made me a better husband for whomever it was. If I reconciled with the mate that I have now, great. But I knew it would have to be God Himself that made that happen. But it literally had to be God that fixed me inside because I was so broken. And all I know is it had to be but God.
But God. So that's how it's kind of right into it. What we're going to, when God put in my spirit, and some things that you were saying. Title is who are you listening to? Okay. So we're the text I'm coming from though is we're gonna work through John chapter 10. Okay. So first, who are we listening to? Like trying to get the foundation of it, because something that you said about God fixing and working, you got to a point of saying God fix it, right? And so we get, I don't want to go too fast. So anyway, the definition of listening is the act of paying attention to sounds and when applied human communication. If it means hearing what someone is saying and saying and making an effort to understand its meaning.
Okay.
Right. The act of paying attention to sounds, and when applied to human communication, it means hearing what someone is saying and making an effort to understand.
Okay.
Okay. It's me. So we're doing this. Okay. So all right, that's listening. So what do you think what's different from hearing and listening?
Honestly, I feel like when you hear it, you don't always listen to it. It's like it goes in, but it doesn't. You're not comprehending it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you hear it, you're ready to respond.
Right, right.
And I have this conversation a lot with my fiance, because like we'll have that same conversation, because there are times where we're both in our feelings and we're both frustrated, whatever. And I'm like, babe, I don't think you're hearing me. She's like, well, I know you're not hearing me. And we'll have that whole repartee
Battle about
and it's like we're clashing, and I'm like, baby, I'm not trying to fight. I just want you to listen. She's like, well, I don't think you're. I'm like, babe, I know. And then once we calm down and we really double check what we're saying,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is what I said. She's like, wait, but that's what I'm like, see?
You're saying the same thing.
And it's saying the same thing,
Most
just a
cases.
little bit different. And it's like, I'm like, see, we were saying the same thing, just you were saying it in your Puerto Rican way, and I was saying it in my way. And she's like, oh. And we both have to apologize for being knuckleheads, because, and it just is what it is.
Right.
And then it's like, I'm so sorry for hurting your feelings. So that's where we go.
And then you know what? Even with saying that part, right? I'm sorry for hurting your feelings. Then it don't be just one person saying it.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be two, right?
Mhm.
So definitely see how that is different, right? So
Mhm.
with hearing, 'cause I've been there, done that, you
For
know,
real, for
still
real.
doing it. You know what I'm saying? It still gets to that point of only because you got a fiance, only because you're married, that you reach the mark.
Mhm.
And that's some of the things where,
They're still working on it.
but see, reaching the mark is not marriage.
Yep.
And that's what we have been taught. I know of what had it made. They say, well, that wasn't taught, but that was kind of low key what we're all saying, because even in society, well, if you ain't married by the time you 30, you ain't gonna. It's always about the woman, though, right?
Mhm.
And you ain't married, no man got you by the time you 30, something wrong. And it's in the church even more. Oh, you may be married. If you don't got no baby, something wrong with you. So it's always something
Mm-hmm.
that's going through your ear.
Everybody want to judge somebody else. Everybody
Right. So the thing is, like you said, listening different, because most times you do say the same thing, but you're saying it in your way.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say it in your way, I can know for me, when I'm like, man, I listen to all the things you say. I listen, I take it, but it's like nobody listening to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Everybody's verbiage is different.
but see, I was like, I listen and I accept and I see, and that got to a place where I just like, I started manifesting, and I thought about it. Because nobody listened to me, nobody listened to me, nobody. And see, then I kind of also too started doing a little more study.
Mm-hmm.
I started doing a little more study and different practices
Mm-hmm.
of not astrology, but like human design.
Mm-hmm.
Which is even people that, how you do that? Why are you into that? You an apostle? It's not. I am a strong believer that everything that's in this earth
It's connected.
is connected.
Everything is interwoven, almost like a patchwork quilt.
Exactly. So if God gave the abilities to somebody create medicine,
Mm-hmm.
why am I talking about I ain't taking no meds for that?
Exactly.
Right. If God, so sometimes people can't even take. I'm sorry if I keep hitting my mic. I don't know if that's messing up something. I don't know. But
Well, no, soon.
taking the land
Mm-hmm.
Everything was in the land.
I'll take something herbal before I'm gonna take something pharmaceutical for real, for real.
For real. And so that's what I'm turning to now.
Right? The natural stuff, especially for the issues that you and I go through.
Right. So if I'm turning to the natural, and this is the thing, we got so drifted away to quick fixes.
Yep.
And that when people, oh, I'm going to say this, when people end up leaving church, they end up being more, they end up looking within the spirit within, because that's the spirit they have.
Yep.
And then they end up going to the land, which
The holistic approach.
because that's what God is. He gave us everything we needed before He created. He gave us everything we needed before the breath. So
that's like the Native Americans. They were taking things from the land. They were taking the leaves. They were taking aloe vera plants. They were taking the various different things, the various different spices and various different things, and putting them in mortars and pestles and breaking them down and boiling them and just saying, here, drink this, take this, tincture, take this. And it's funny because my son, his grandfather, he was a medicine man. He did all these different things with his family in Mexico, and he helped heal these people. And it's all these different things. And it's like, people are like, oh, you're a witch. You're a this. I'm like, dude, you're killing me. These are people that are healers. And you're looking at them like they're brujos. I'm like, they're not witches. They're medicine people. They're healing their families. They're people in their tribes that do what they do for generations and generations. And this is what they did.
So, and I feel like definitely medicine is needed, right?
Exactly. But modern science is an amazing thing. It's a God-given thing.
And I tell you, anything that God has given, people abuse it.
Exactly.
Right? So even if it is, oh, well, that is a medicine doctor. That is, a medicine doctor. I'm sorry, they don't call them medicine doctors. They do call them witches. They do call them the
brujas and brujas,
like demonic.
Santarios, all them different things.
And
like, come on, man.
And some people, that's their culture.
Exactly. And I mean, I'm not going to announce somebody. Their culture is their culture. Why are you going to crucify someone when they grew up in Latin cultures or in African cultures or these different cultures, and that's how they grew up? You want to ostracize somebody for how they grew up and say, oh, they're going to burn hell. Who are you to judge?
And then, if you're going to say you're judging, I'm going to just say this. This will kind of stop. Because I was a really, really religious holy roller. You hear me? I was one of the ones that said, they say hello, I say hallelujah. Oh, and I always had a Holy Ghost shape, right? So anyway, but I knew relationship. But when it came to, they say that's wrong. I could never fathom when I was younger how yoga was the mind. Right. That look right there. And I'm so young.
How yoga was the mind?
Yes. And I see because that's a great state of meditation.
Yeah.
And if you really get in tune with your spirit, you are spirit. How are we going to say don't get in tune to what we are? Because when we get in tune to what we are, we can do what we're supposed to do. And it shouldn't take no judgment, right? And so I heard people say, oh, I transported in this and this. Paul did. Okay? And so many other things where we end up condemning, like you said, and beating up. Well, you trying to figure it out?
Yeah, I'm just like,
You trying to figure it out. And so we end up doing and abusing the beauty of alignment. The alignment.
Yeah.
It ends up messing up the alignment of it. And then it stray us away to be more dependent on things that we're supposed to be dependent on. Because we are, if the soil is our land, if we got the answer is in the soil, right? And we are the answer. I'm the answer to you. You're the answer. We the answer to each. It goes there. But we are so divide that the answers are never ever happening because we're breaking it up, right? All right. So let me go on. So the definition I looked up is a passive involuntary process of receiving sound. Perceiving, not even receiving, perceiving sound. And let me open it back up to that because I was like, okay, so I'm hearing you. Some things are involuntary. I know what you're saying. I can hear it. And then when it said the passiveness of it, oh, I can hear a sound. I can hear your voice. But do I know, am I listening to your voice? Right?
Mm-hmm.
I can hear to music, but is it a part of me really knowing who you are?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
It's kind of like how you glaze over. Like if somebody's talking,
Yep.
you're focused on what you're doing, and it's like you could be having a conversation. I'm having a conversation with you. Pastor Tisa comes in and she's talking, but I'm having a conversation with you, and she's trying to talk to me, but I'm focusing on you, and she's like, Pastor Grace, you hear me? Wait, what?
right. You're not right.
I'm like, wait, I'm sorry. Were you saying something to me? She's like, you know, I was something like, I honestly did not hear you. I apologize.
Right. Right.
And she's like, boy, I'm sorry.
And that's how it is. That's how it is, though.
You know,
Like,
it's not being disrespectful, but it's like your brain doesn't want to disconnect. But though you say, oh, I can have 4 conversations at once, but really you can't.
you can't. As much as I say,
You think you can.
right, you can't. I don't care if it's 2. Something is going to get misheard.
Mm-hmm.
Something is going to get
It's going to get lost in
It's
translation.
going to get lost in translation.
And I feel like at a younger age, we might have been able to compartmentalize things, but as we get older, I feel, and again, I show my age, I feel like as I've gotten older, I'm a little slower in the uptake.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know for me, when I was younger, I was able to have multiple conversations. I could have a conversation with 3 or 4 people and literally repeat back what each of those people said and still take notes on a couple other things. They're like, wait, what? How did you? I'm like, I don't know. Right. Because my brain was always, and I was diagnosed with ADHD. So it was like the more stuff I had going on, the better it was for me. Now it's like, no.
Yes.
If I have more than 3, nope, more than 3, my brain's like, I'm like, no, can't do it. And it's like the hamster falls off the running wheel.
Right.
He's like, nope, goodbye. And he's just like this, trying to do this, still trying to run, but he's on the side, like, nope, can't, I'm stuck. You can't do that, right?
And so I guess too with me, if you can do it when you're younger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time when you're younger, you're exercising.
Yup. You haven't abused your body.
You haven't abused your body. You haven't abused your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't allowed the cares of the world to choke you out. And
your mind is innocent. It's not tainted.
So and if you're in school, you're growing, you plan, you're drawing, you are being in your creative state.
Mm-hmm.
So
but you're not tarnished or tainted, and that innocence is still there.
Right.
And I love, and one of my favorite things biblically, and I say this a lot to people. One of the things I love, and I know this is one of the things that you had said to me previously, when we visited in ministry. You said to me, I love how you worship, and it's because I go to God with a child.
Mm-hmm.
Is when Jesus is always with children. Come to me as a child, and when we're younger in our life, our brains are more childlike.
Yeah.
So I feel like when our minds are more in a childlike state and in a growth process is when we're able to do more cerebrally.
Mm-hmm.
When we haven't necessarily had the abilities for trauma, when we haven't been tainted with chemicals, physical and mental, spiritual trauma, being jaded, potential abuse, chemical trauma, the things of the world haven't come in to hurt, harm, or hinder us. The various things from the outside haven't come in so soon. So I feel like the window for us to be able to do that as human beings is probably from the ages of like 13 to maybe 25, 30, and that's pushing it.
Right. So I think even though we have the capacity to do it, doesn't mean we inhaled everything that we needed to do because we're doing two different things.
And the only other caveat I think for that would be unless you're special needs, because there are some people who know, like for instance, like my son.
Mhm.
My son is on the autism spectrum.
Mhm.
Special people in his situation, others like him, they are so lit in certain
Mhm.
places in their cerebral cortex where they
Right.
just pick it up. And I'm just like, I sit in awe of my son. Like, I'm like, wow, how can you? He's like, what do you mean? Like when I sit with him, he'll be in his phone. Like he'll sit with a tablet like this, and he'll have a phone here playing a Yu-Gi-Oh deck. 26 years old, he'll have this Yu-Gi-Oh deck in his phone over here. He'll have a tablet over here watching something with his earphone off. He'll have another phone over here. He'll have a cat. And I'm like, how do you have? I have no idea how he's doing all this.
And they retain it.
And he's sitting over here listening to music that he's created on YouTube. I'm like, how are you? And he's writing down beats that he's fixing to start. I'm like, the kid is a genius. I'm just like,
They are a blessing.
and it astounds me. I'm just like, this kid. And this is how Elon Musk got to where he is. I'm like, my God.
Mhm.
It just astounds me. And I'm just so impressed.
And you know why though? Because I really believe some of me, I came to this thing, this thought process is that they're still at a pure innocent state.
Exactly. And that's what I mean. Like,
So they close out,
Mhm.
like they're in their zone. They do what they need to do in their zone. And in their zone, they can do and pull and this and that. So I was in high school when I was in high school. My mom was like, you can't do all this stuff. I'm like, yes, I can. I hate it.
Yeah, I can't.
Don't tell me I can't do it. Right? So all the extracurricular activity, I was a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Band, marching band.
Uh-oh.
6 in the morning.
What was you playing?
Drums.
Why not the drums? Marching band with the drums.
Yep.
My Jesus.
I played the tenor. I didn't want to do bass. I went carrying it in the march, the parade. Tenor drum, snare,
Nice.
the tri, quad, and cymbals. But I love the cymbals because you can always have fun with it, flicking them up.
I was gonna say I can see you doing that.
Anyway, it was just
I can see you doing it.
So
too.
I was in the band, class council, student council,
Nice.
volleyball team, basketball team.
Learn some stuff. We'll take some notes on that.
A whole bunch of stuff, like very in that lane, right? And so then I go come make sure I'm home, be at youth night.
Nice.
And so, and my mama like, what are you doing working? Well, before practice, we gotta do our work and this and that. And so I had like 700 things on my plate, right?
Mm-hmm.
The happiest person in the world. I was happy. And you can't do all this to your body. Your muscles was tight, it's tense. But let me tell you, I didn't care. That was my push.
Yep.
That was my motivation. That when you see people keep doing what they're doing because it's a passion for them,
Yeah.
It don't matter. They're thriving, they're growing, they being productive because they was living from a place of passion and not living from a place of survival.
Yeah, that was me in high school too.
So my mom, like my freshman, so since it was my freshman year, like I had one issue with science, biology. They put me in biology and honors. Like, what? I didn't even do environments yet. So anyway, they put me in by the second semester of my freshman year, I was all honor classes.
Nice.
But how you gonna put me in geometry and put me in no, they had me in geometry, but I was in physics. And no coding.
It's math and science.
But right, in physics, you do a lot with the math part of it, with tans and codes and all this.
That's Diablo.
It's right. So
No.
at that point, I had a solid 3.8
Okay.
my freshman year.
I have GPS.
I had to get some stuff off my schedule. And my mom was like, you can't do all of that. Pick something stable. My GPA dropped.
Uh-oh.
And it's and that was because I think I don't know, probably ADHD and I don't know, but because I was able to, I did it. I loved it, and I realized when I had to cut back on things I love, it made me lazy in the things that I was required to.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you take away my passion,
Yep. That was me.
but I got to go to school.
Yep.
So now I'm not even there
Yep.
because it wasn't my motivation.
That was me. They took away football from me, and like I was in football, I was in French club, I was in choir, I was in.
Oh, I didn't know I was a choir.
They called me. I was in what was called the Indian Action News. So it was the TV station.
Mhm.
I was in all kinds of other clubs. I was in photography, student council, peer counseling, peer mediation. I was in all kinds of stuff. And the minute they took football away, and like that was like the way I could get the aggression out, the extra aggression out, and the frustration from all the crap I was going through. It was just like, what was the point?
Right.
I was like, now you're making me sit through classes because some of the other things were only certain times a year.
Right.
The football was for like
May
9 months.
Football
And part of the summer.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, really? This is how I'm working out. This is how I'm getting healthy. This is how I'm losing weight. This is how I'm getting my frustration and anger because I came out of a household, unfortunately, rest my father's soul, of abuse. No shade. He and I healed our relationship, but it was very abusive with he and I.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I had to figure out a way to get that hurt out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, going out and beating on, the stuff out there made it easier for me. I see a red shirt, I'm going out and knocking the heck out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It made my life easier.
Right.
Going hitting the sled made my life easier. And my peeps out there at the time, they had my six, and it made it real good for me. And having my buddies with me, it meant the world to me. And I can't tell you what that did for me. But like the minute they took it away, my grades slipped.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, man, and my grades started to slip. And it was like my mom got my dad involved and was like, hey, they're gonna get hurt if you don't start coaching.
Mm-hmm.
They're not learning what they need to learn from your coach. You need to help. My dad actually got involved.
Mm-hmm.
Started working with me, doing some stuff, showing me some stuff. Really getting involved with me in the backyard. Had 2 dogs beating up on me, big heavy dogs. I was like, all right, cool. So it was a good chance for me to do some stuff. And like it was a bonding situation, but like it's a good way.
Right. And when you say grow your passion, it hurts.
Yeah.
So I played football.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up on the block playing football. The only girl on the block. So if I had to go outside and play, I was playing with the boys. I learned everything.
I hear you.
And me being drunk. Like I self-taught myself some things as well. But what I wanted to say is with me in football, right? Something funny. My mom said, you can't play no more out there. I said, why I can't play? You got tatas, man. I said, I said, yo, mama, for real? She said, no, they're gonna try. And they getting older and you getting older.
They gonna grab them.
Man, I was mad.
I want to touch you with straight.
I was playing still at school. I just want to play on the block. Oh, I was like, y'all, let's go further down.
All I would say was you cannot be a center.
I was a QB.
That's good.
I was a QB.
I was a nose tackle. That's all I'm gonna say.
So hearing. It's silly. This is so I like to read this on here. Hearing is a passive and voluntary sensory process in which we perceive sound. It is a silent. What say? I'm sorry.
No problem reading.
No, just the word.
Hearing
No,
is a
right.
passive, sociological.
Thank you. Sociological response that involve our perception of sound. It does not require focused attention.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you said before, right?
Mm-hmm. It's like your brain goes on autopilot.
Right. And I did I read all of that? Yes. I read another definition, but I do want to say this with this. Listening is the act of voluntary. Hearing is involuntary. Listening is voluntary, an intentional process that involves making sense of the words, the sounds you hear, it requires your attention. Your attention. In turn, you may develop an emotional response to what you hear. Listening with the intent to understand refers to active listening. Right. We're not going to go into all those terms of listening. Right. So with that, we got hearing and listening. Okay, so for me, I had like questions, but we've been really, really talking really well. What is for I like listening? I'm gonna say, what's the purpose of listening?
To be able to, for me, I feel like it's to be able to better understand the person that you're having a conversation with.
Right. So why is it so hard to listen?
A lot of times, I know, like for me, the best example I can say would be like, and I hate always using my fiance name, but that's the best examples I have. A lot of times when we have conversations, and I'll use me as an example,
Mhm.
she'll say things and like she'll say something
Mhm.
and it'll immediately make me want to say something in response, whether it's because it reminds me of something that I feel like I need to say,
Mhm.
or it's like, oh, I forgot to tell you something, or wait a minute, that's not what I meant, or I need to explain that further, or wait, that's not what I meant, or and forget this. Oh no, you don't piss me off. That's not what we're supposed to be.
Right.
And it's any of those things, but it's like not listening, but it's like listening to respond.
Listening to respond. And my thing was, as much as I listen, I do. But when I was responding to make them listen.
And that's the thing. It's not even listening. It's hearing to reply.
Right. So but see, I was really listening. I can say it. I can tell you why they said it, and I got connected with why they did it. But when I would respond, I would be responding from a place of like, please, you see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You know, understand me. That's what it is. Understand, because if you understand me and you know why I said what I said or how I felt the way I said it, and you knew the why I said it, then you wouldn't be mad. Right. So if I make you mad, you get. I feel like if that wasn't my intention to make you mad, why are you mad?
And then the other thing is because there's been times where I'll say something, and no matter whether there's times where I'm literally saying something and getting interrupted because I have to get that point across. I'm like, I'm like, I didn't even finish what I was saying. Can I finish what I was saying? Yeah. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, I was talking. Okay, I'm done talking.
Right. And so for us, we take that as a rejection. So we don't just step back. We stop. We just stop.
And it's like I'll just shut down. Like,
exactly.
okay, there's no point.
To shut down. And so the maturity of the growth what I have planned, because mine, I realized it was defense. Because I'm just trying to get you to understand. If you understood what I understood, why I said what I said, you would not be mad. Because I wasn't saying it like that. I didn't mean it like that. And so it's just like, if you please listen, because if you listen, you wouldn't be mad. And that was all my goal, make you not mad.
Yeah, a lot of times what will happen is in those situations, I will allow her to say whatever it is she needs to say. Try to sit there as quietly as possible. If I'm sitting in a situation like this because we're separate right now, I'll write down whatever it is if my thoughts are. Mute myself because there's times where I literally can't hold my tongue because I'm that much of a knucklehead at times. And I admit that I'm that much of a knucklehead, and it is being recorded that I am that much of a knucklehead.
But I'm gonna say you're not alone. I'm not a knucklehead. What I'm saying.
Use a donkey?
I'm an ass.
You could use a donkey. Okay.
So, right. And so
I can admit that I'm an absolute knucklehead at times, but it's and the thing is it's not a matter of trying to start a fight. It's literally just like it's like it's wanting to be validated and wanting to be heard, but also stating like, look, it's just trying to make an explanation and say, this is what's going on, wanting to be heard. And there's times where situations don't need to go from 0 to 100 that fast. And they do because of the space that's between parties. And then saying, okay, I want you to be heard. I want you to know that your feelings are valid. And you have a right to your feelings. However, I didn't cause them because you already have had these things going on in your life. But I want to help you unpack those things and deal with those things in a healthy way.
Right.
How can I do that? And once those things are dealt with, come back to whatever's been going on and say, okay, now that we've dealt with these things, now that you're calm, can I talk to you again about what I needed to speak to you about now that we're in a different headspace? And a lot of times, it's a little bit easier, which I've noticed in the last month or so, it's been a blessing. And I've been learning that, when you have a conversation, to clarify, to make sure the person's properly heard you, is a good way to make sure that they understood and didn't misunderstand what you said. Because a lot of times you'll say something like, wait, what'd you say? And they'll immediately their backs up. Oh, I didn't say it like that. That wasn't how I meant it.
And it came out. Well,
Exactly.
those were the words that you said.
But that wasn't my intention.
Right. The motive
Let
behind
me back that up. Because it simply could have been you were frustrated in that moment. And that wasn't how you meant it. Because, I'm in traffic or this thing. That wasn't how I meant it.
And sometimes it's not even you don't have to. You don't have to always be mad. It's just some words that are triggering.
Oh yeah, exactly.
For that, I was talking to my therapist, and so I said something, and I told her what happened, and I repeated. And she said, "Did you start off with so like you just said?" I said, "Yes." She said, "So that right there, so it almost come off as dismissive." And I'm like, "No, I'm just continuing the way whatever." But I have realized, even in my text and writing, even to friends, I'm not angry, ain't no argument. With wife, I say so. Even if it's a continuing statement, I say, "Let me take it back." Because I'm not, and it's not even in an argument state, right? So if I'm writing and I'll be like, I had a good day at lunch, so then this happened, I take out so. So I'm trying to not say so. And just say, I had a good day.
Yeah.
And then guess what happened?
I had a good day, ...
Right. It's not saying so, because I say so dramatic. I'm like, and so it can be taken a whole bunch of ways.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like I just said, so part of me it's part of me is a natural condition part of me where I do it. And it is we cannot control how people perceive.
Oh yeah.
Right. And that made me start listening easier. Because I can't control how you perceive what I say.
Exactly.
But I will acknowledge how you feel based on what I said.
Exactly. And that's what I'm learning too.
And based on your perception of what I said. Based on how, when I said that, it made you feel. Even though it is not as far from when I made my statement, that was a good statement to me. But it made you, guess what? You know what? I hear you. I understand. And before, I used to do it in front of my man. That's a punk. And you better, you don't gonna let nobody punk you like that. You ain't gonna keep being soft, you know what I'm saying? And then they get to do whatever anybody, pastor, teacher, whatever, they get to say and do what they want to. And I can't speak my mind, or I can't tell it like what, you know what I'm saying? And so I used to feel less than because I felt like I was always compromised. I felt like I was always being the one to give people what they want. I felt like I was always being the peacemaker.
Yeah.
So since I wanted peace, I just kind of conformed. And so But when I started changing that mentality, literally going to God, well, God, how do I treat your son, your child?
Mm-hmm.
Because the way Marnisha about to treat him, baby, it's gonna rise up.
You gonna catch
Rise, I'm talking about rise up. And so being a fire sign, even if you're like, okay, Holy Ghost come, it's fine. And in 2013, I did not realize how much I was able. But it got totally activated because I was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I was broken. I was at a place of my breath literally being taken.
Mm.
You know, it's been two major things in my life that kind of have crushed me.
Yeah.
When I say crush, oh, Holy Ghost, crush me. And so I remember laying in bed and I said, God, at this point, I knew I was fixed, right?
Mhm.
I knew I was an angel because I've never ever said, yeah, they be talking to me. So I was talking to the pastor, right? It was hilarious. So she has the conversation with me concerning my sexuality. I'm not even about church, but she
Okay.
yeah.
That should be interesting.
And so say, and so right, I just said anyway.
You gonna notice that from now on, already
I always do it. And my writing is bad. So because I don't ever want to be defensive, dismissive when I say it, but I definitely know the context of what I'm saying.
Mhm.
I don't want it to be her wrong, but I can't still control it. I'm only responsible. But I can say as much as I can say. So anyway, she was having a talk with me and I knew all that terrible way. She talking. I didn't say and I didn't think about what I just said. It just came out. And I'm chilling. I'm chilling. She said such, and then she mentioned something, and I was like, mm. I said, well, didn't we end up falling under the similar app? Mm. We made. I said, yes, we made in God's image. I'm not refuting it.
Mm-hmm.
But then we end up starting living under the curse of Adam. Mhm. And then so, if I was already created, I was like, boom, 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 boom. I wasn't thinking how the response. I didn't think about how she looked. I didn't think about her face. Nothing. I was at a place, and when I get like that, I don't care about what nobody feels. Mm-hmm. I had an FU attitude, literally, to the point of being brutal and hurting people feelings.
Wow.
And I'm a caring person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a loving person. And I was like, oh well, this is the fire they say I was born under. Mm-hmm. Because I literally,
my God,
I can tell you some stuff and I ain't gonna say no. But it was real. I felt so bad when I didn't know and I wasn't comfortable with my identity. Mm-hmm. And my who I am and my preference of who I love. Mm-hmm. And who, yeah. This one right here. Oh my God. Anyway, my God. Oh my God, today this woman is so amazing. I'm saying anyway. My God. I'm saying so in the right way, y'all. Just trying to make sure I'm mindful of it. Anyhow. That's right. I was just man, I was well, but when I did not even know comfortable with when you're not comfortable with who you are, mm-hmm. You hurt everybody around, pretty much. For real, for real. I ended up hurting every female. Everybody was collateral damage. Yeah. So anybody tell me they're flirting with me, this and that. I'm gonna tell you how bad I am. Or was, I was no more. That's fair. And during that time, I did right. I told this person, and I'm just saying this because I know how bad I am. So I'm gonna give an example of me. Yeah. So, oh, I want to be with you. I said, no, you don't. Yes, I do. I'm gonna tell you, no, you don't. Why? I said we're gonna be together for 3 months. The third month, I'm not gonna be with you. You're gonna love me. You're gonna tell me you love me in 2 weeks, and after them 2 weeks, you tell me you love me. Something's gonna shift in my mind, and so then I'm gonna leave you alone. What? That ain't gonna happen. I said, I know me. I know why I'm back. And I said, I'm going to hurt you. So I'd rather us be friends with benefits. because you put that label on me, girlfriend. I started twitching. Oh, like because I couldn't handle it. I'm going to hell first class with gasoline draws on. So I couldn't walk in my identity. And that's not every part of me. A friend of mine told me, because I used to be bad. And I'm gonna go to the next part. Used to be so bad, girl. And being comfortable to walk in a room, a job interview, without them saying what they thinking about me. Do they think I'm gay? Do they think this? Do they think that? So that was my whole mindset. So that was my whole mindset. So she was like, she was like, so, are you still like, I said, well, why? She said, because you know what? Never mind. I shouldn't have asked you. Because that's only 2% of who you are. I said, and that was my change. So anyway, all right, let's go to this text right quick because I think we've been on here a long time. It's gonna have to be edited. Something I don't know. It's been a mighty, mighty long time. Let me get back to the script. All right, so we're gonna try to go through this as fast. Yeah, I'm not gonna rush it. I want it to simmer, right? But I also want it to percolate. I'd be a whole 3 hours. But they got the two people that can talk. So, well, we were reviving to live. All right. Right. That's what I'm saying. We talk. So, John, I'm reading first from the King James Version. John 10. First one. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entered not the door into the shepherdfold, but climbed up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. Come on, stop right there. Because first I thought about what's a shepherdfold. Not shepherdfold, a sheepfold. It's a sheepfold. So he that entered not by the door into the sheepfold. Okay, the sheepfold is it's an enclosed area for sheep to be safe from predators and weather. I didn't know the weather part, but I didn't even really know that it was called a sheepfold. And so the way it's made, the top of it got legs on it. It's supposed to be very, very damaging if you come to the sheep, right? And so then I started thinking about the sheep and the kid, right? It's humble, it's quiet, whatever. So when we get to the sheepfold in life, that it is sometimes a lot of times that you push deny the protectors that God protecting us from something. We push it away. But God, and this blew my mind, y'all. Because I've always been, I don't want no boundaries. I don't like boundaries now. Boundaries just don't allow you to love me. And I want you to love me right. You're gonna be worried and fearful because now you got these boundaries of, oh my God. And my wife is someone of boundaries and she let me see it in a different way. But I still like, that's gonna stop you from loving me. I need all of it. And it's more so emotional, right? It's an emotional attachment. It's that, you know what I'm saying? Give me all of you. But I'm realizing when we give people all of us at the wrong time, it demolishes. Right? It ain't no time to grow. I've learned so much from her. So anyway, from weather, particularly at night. Why night?
Because that's when the critters come to try to steal the sheep from the sheepfold.
When do we deal with our most mental issues breaking down?
At night.
So right.
When we're alone.
Alone.
In the dark.
Vulnerable.
Yep.
Right? So if they gonna try to jump over, they must have a lot of something going on with them. Because they're protected. If you won't even try to, because sheep is money. Right? Sheep is money. Sheep is valuable. And some people, sheep was a sacrifice, right?
During that time in the New Testament time, sheep were used not just for their wool and for their meat, they were for sacrifice, but it was also for milk. So they were high commodity at the marketplace, they were high commodity.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then cheap is lame.
Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. So, no,
Right.
so for the
Lamb right
so,
now is
so for the sacrifice back then for Jews and Gentiles, for obvious reasons, you shear them for their wool, you get the milk, you get the meat, and what they use the first cuts for the Jewish people, they would use what they needed for the sacrifice on the altar.
right.
So I mean, they have all that, and now for obvious reasons. I mean, I keep making comments, and I told my fiance this. I made a joke to her. I said, with the economy the way it is, so we can get a farm. And she said, what do you need? I said, Dolly Madison, one of the first wives in the White House, she had chickens, dairy cows, and sheep because she used the milk. She sheared the sheep for their wool, used the milk from the sheep as well as the cows, and the chickens, the eggs during the war to help for the troops.
I tell you, I ain't drinking a whole milk, but I think I would drink pure milk. I don't know about that. It's probably too strong.
But I think you still have to go through some form of pasteurization process.
Because I just don't know. But that's true. It was value, it was money, it was ways to grow, right? To live off.
It's ways to go off the land, but I still keep making jokes because there are places that right now you can't get eggs anywhere. We can't. There's places where we can't get eggs anywhere. Like you go to the grocery store right now, eggs are like $30-$40 for like I saw at Walmart. What was it, like 3 weeks ago? One of those big cases of eggs, like you see, those giant, like what is it, like 5 cases of eggs?
Five dozen.
Those ones, they're like $40. I was like, what? I'm like, yo, eggs are on they used to be 18. Chickens are on somebody's payroll.
Right.
The chickens are on somebody's payroll, for real, for real.
Right. Okay. They definitely are. But
So, stimulus just for eggs and milk.
man, right. Put me on Wick.
Who do we gotta talk to about that? Mr. Musk?
I'll talk to him.
For real. He giving out stimulus for somebody.
You know what?
He giving out a stimulus to somebody.
You can let praise the Lord. We'll talk about that. All right. So it says too, but climbing up some other way, right? The same is a thief and a robber. So which tweaked my brain a little more because thief and a robber. That means it's a difference, right? So thief is someone who steals property secretly, right? Nobody hurt them, nobody nothing, no threats. Secretly, right? And it's a crime against the property. You get 7 years for that.
Really?
It can get up to 7 years.
Wow.
Robber is one who steals property using force or a threat, using a threat or force and get maximum life sentence.
Wow.
Because if I'm a robber, I'm going to threaten you, I'm going to do this, and even to the point of killing you.
Wow.
Correct, right? And so if it's these people that do the damage, they just ask, well, pretty much they are. Somebody, because they what? Trying to kill, trying to get the sheep. And if somebody get in the way of getting their sheep, they're going to kill that person. Because now I'm taking your values. Right? And so some people are slick about it. And I don't know, Johnny, what you see. And some people are like, you know what? I'm going to blatantly rob you. Right? And so this is all going to come to a point of who are you listening to? Okay. Okay, let me continue. But he that enters the door is the shepherd of the sheep. Right? He that entered the door. Enter the door represents authority. Okay. Represents confidence. Represents security. Represent I know who I am. Because if I'm going to enter the door, I know this is definitely how the context is written, but just expanding it, I can't go nowhere and enter something that don't belong to me. Because then what does that mean? Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
But when I walk into the door, when I know this is my door, I have another oomph about myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not making sure it's guarded. This is mine.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. So, but we have rights and we have a door. God has given us valuable, but we don't walk in our door.
Mm-hmm.
We don't walk in. We don't have no oomph about it. Now I'm gonna tell you how cocky I can be sometimes. When it comes to the hospital, I ain't stopping to get on my name. I walk right through. I go by the nursery station. I know the number because you tell me the number. For me, that's my access. That's all I need.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't stopping me. Nothing stopping me. I'm going straight to see who I'm going to see.
Mm-hmm.
Now, should I stop sometime? Yeah. But I have that aura and that
Mm-hmm.
I can, and I never got stopped. It was never any problem. I walked past and said hello. So, but when you end up doing things that you don't have no oomph about it, you end up being, you walk on eggshells
Mm-hmm.
because you can't be strong in who you are
Mm-hmm.
because you're not even confident that it's yours.
You're not walking in your authority.
You're not walking in your authority.
Mm-hmm.
And we have learned so much that our authority is not, it's from somebody else.
Exactly.
But our authority is from the embodiment of what we create.
Exactly.
That's our authority.
Mm-hmm.
We have authority because we're created with authority.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so we don't listen to our beginning. We always end up listening to what is in the presence of us, which knocks us down and which start allowing us to receive garbage and other things because we're not confident. We don't know. I'm gonna say most people we can say, "Oh yeah, I know, I get it," but you don't know. You know that no one knows that without a shadow of a doubt type of know, right? Okay, so that's that part. Okay, into the door of the sheep. To him, the porter opens. I'm gonna finish this and I'm gonna go back to that. And the sheep hear his voice, and he calls his name, and he calls his own sheep by name. I'm going to go up to porter. What is a porter? So I think sure. A porter is one who is the gatekeeper. They are responsible for guarding the entrance, ensuring that only authorized individuals enter.
Mm-hmm.
Only authorized individuals enter. It was an honorable and important. It was honorable and important. So, if I have the responsibility of knowing, making sure that people without authority don't come in,